Content warning. The Adventures in HellwQrld podcast talks in depth about QAnon, which means we have to talk about all kinds of child abuse and violence against people. Listener discretion advised.
Hello, everybody. I am Mike Rains, a.k.a. Poker and Politics, and welcome to another episode of Adventures in HellwQrld. This week, I am joined, as always, by Haley, a.k.a. Arizona Right Wing Watch.
Hello. Hello. There you go. Two hellos.
Boom. Double hello this week. It's like double rainbow. What does it mean? And also the mysterious L.
Ooh, hello, my beautiful babies. Yeah, my co-host thought he was gone, but ooh, cool cat L, he's still here. Skip, scap, scoobity bop, get your stand-up basses ready. Yeah, jazz, etc. I like beat poetry, I guess. I'm one of those types. You know, a bongo, and like, you know, traditional music from different countries I've never go to. Yeah.
Monk. What, you remember the monk? You remember that? Chant?
Like Tony Shalhoub?
No, like chant. You know, you're into that
like
kind of music. Like,
yeah, I love Ummet Ozcan. He's my favorite. Oh, yeah. Mongolian trance music. That's a real thing.
Everything's a thing.
Oh, yeah. Like that artist and that genre of music specifically. Like
Tuvian throat singing, you know?
I love throat singing.
Yeah.
I don't think it sounds good, but it is really cool.
One of the things I remember from back in the day was that, like, death metal bands would have two vocalists because, like, screamy death metal would, like, damage your vocal cords so badly that they had to alternate who would be screaming at a given time. And I was like, that's a good idea, like, rotating the screaming in order to
that's a fun way to avoid getting good at your craft.
It's romantic.
Yeah.
They're screaming at each other.
That's a sweet way to avoid doing it well, you know.
Yeah.
Why train to be able to do it good when I can just do it bad for
half-ass it?
10, 20 years tops and like offload some of the work to somebody, you know, because somebody has to be able to do white guy falsetto or whatever in the middle of like a metal song where they're just like, my tortured soul.
That's a lot of
I love metal music. It's great.
bands in my day. That's every band in my day.
Yeah, so good.
That was always like I mean, I understand that rapping is hard and that working on lyrics and that kind of stuff is like work. And I intellectually, I understand that. But I've always found the bands that have like the rapper and the singer. I'm just like, man, I feel like the rapper's on the free ride here. Because like the singer actually has to like work at the singing. And then the rapper just comes in, drops like 6 bars and like runs away. And then it's just like, man, that guy, like, smooth sailing. You're not quite the hype man from the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones who gets a share for bopping around on the stage, but you're close. That's all I'm saying.
Well, remember, like, did Outkast have that guy with the umbrella? Have we talked about this on the podcast before? Are we in a time loop? Is time a circle?
Nope.
Yeah.
We've never had the Outkast umbrella guy discussion.
Like, was it his job just to dance around with an umbrella? Was it that what
yeah,
he was there
literally
for?
was. He was, like, paid for it.
Yeah, I can't remember that guy's name, but he was
It
just
was
like you.
Barnesworth?
He had like a suitably dapper name for his,
Yeah,
you know, like I feel like he was sort of Jadina picked up in his footsteps. It was just like, you know, I'd like to actually get on the mic though and cut some good songs. Yeah, I'll be
Barnesworth Bentley.
There we go. Yeah, it's just like,
That's
you know
name.
what? I'll carry the torch. I'll be the well dressed black guy, but I'll also like, you know, spit hot fire and shit. So we no longer need you, Umbrella Man. Thank you for your service.
Did you see Vivek rapping at the Iowa fair?
No, I consciously avoided it because nothing makes me angrier than bad rap.
I saw some people talking about how it was like, oh man, if only the left could tap into this kind of energy. And
For sure.
I'm sure there have been plenty of left.
That's such a hilarious take too, because I'm pretty sure that when Trump got elected, Eminem himself was just like, "Hey, I'm gonna cut this track and I'm gonna put it out on the YouTubes," and it's pretty much just like, "Yo, I fucking hate Donald Trump's guts, and you're not really a fan of mine if you think that Donald Trump's cool." And it's just like, okay, wow, so ambiguous a message there, Eminem. If only somebody on the left would speak up politically in their music.
Yeah,
Dude, Farnsworth Bentley was totally in an Obama campaign video with the umbrella.
Oh, sweet.
I'm just reading the wiki because you made me click it.
I have to imagine that it was incredibly somber. Like he was just like dressed like incredibly appropriately and just like very, very somberly holding the umbrella above the president's head. Maybe it was like red light, green light. As soon as Obama would like turn away from him, he started like dancing like the Six Flags guy. And then Obama tries to catch him and he's just sitting there somberly holding the umbrella.
Dude, how's Baldur's Gate? I did no idea what you were talking about last week, but then I realized I fucking did because I had heard my friends talk about the penis game. So now I'm a little bit interested because everybody's interested. So how's it going?
Everybody's talking about Baldur's Gate right now. It's great. It's good to see like what is essentially a scrappy little studio come out with like a complete banger that like totally. This is like the definition of a disruptive game. Like,
yeah, I like that AAA studios were like, we're not doing this, so don't expect us to.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that like this is the second time this has happened in as many years, because last year it was Elden Ring and From Software just coming out of nowhere, like off the top rope, to come out with like unequivocally the best game of the year, just like a huge elbow drop onto the industry. No microtransactions, no nothing. You buy it, you got it. It's the best game of the year, one of the best games ever. And then this year, not for nothing, another Zelda came out. The Harry Potter game came out and sold 15 million or more copies. And then, like, this little studio, like, after their game being in early access for a long time, just, like, finally it's just like, hey, it's done. And then, boom, it destroys everything. It's disrupting everybody. Like, everyone's suddenly just like, oh, my God, is Legend of Zelda not the best game of the year? And, this studio is not huge. They are not a AAA studio. So it's good to see this succeed. As for the game itself, I mean, it's incredible. It's just as good as everybody. There's a reason everyone's talking about it. I've never played a game like this before because they've never really interested me. And, when I can fight my general video game playing anxiety and actually sit down and start playing it, I have a great time.
Yeah, I've had people in the group chat with Elle who are also playing it, raving about it, and now I've got coworkers talking about it. So after this podcast, I'm going to just get it, and because this week was payday for me, so I get to jump into Baldur's Gate now. I get to actually be a part of this madness that everyone's talking about. I had another friend who was just like, yeah, I'm addicted to my other games, but I will have to play that at some point in the next year. I will have to break down and play it. And I was just like, man, Baldur's Gate is just a gravity well, just sucking everybody into it. No one can escape it. So
I'm debating. I haven't played games in a while.
Yeah, it really. I don't usually play a ton of video games either, but this one really scratches my. I love the Bethesda games. Not because like they're obviously broken at launch and they're fucked up, they're full of glitches and all that shit.
But fun though, the glitches, right? You gotta figure out the glitches. You get to watch the Skyrim people look weird. I love Skyrim. Skyrim's literally like my favorite.
Yeah, Skyrim is great. I love the zeitgeist about it when one of those games drops, because a lot of people are playing it, typically everyone in my friend group, but we're all discovering different shit, like weird different stuff is happening to us. Like, a lot of the critical moments are the same, but like off that critical path, like it's sort of the Wild West. And Baldur's Gate scratches that itch, like, perfectly. I'm about 6 hours into the game, and I have already made decisions that have, like, tremendous consequences that my friends who have over 60 and 70 hours in the early access version of the game, which also covers the same amount of time that I've been playing, have never discovered themselves. Like, it's just stuff that they've never had happen to them or gone through. And so I'll be talking to these guys, and they're just like, oh, really? And I'm just like, wow, I'm still surprising you after all this time, huh? Interesting.
You fuck the sexy vampire yet?
No, I avoided killing his ass. He was trying to suck my blood in the night, and you have the option of just trying to murk him on the spot for his transgression. But I was like, everybody gets one. I've been there,
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
You wake up sucking on somebody in your party, and they're like, what's the deal? And you're just like, are we cool? Yeah, everybody gets one.
I'm very glad that you're vampire acceptance. That's what HellwQrld's all about, is tolerating different cultures, including the people who try to exsanguinate you and turn you into a vampire.
All my friends are making fun of me when I describe like some of the stuff that's happened in my playthrough as being like a relentless murder machine, like just like a bringer of chaos and death. But I'm just like, no, I'm not really. Like I've saved a lot of people. Like sometimes people just want to fight me. What am I going to do? Not fight them? It's a video game. If I choose to lay down my arms, they will kill me.
You're like the protagonist cop in a TV show where his body count is unrealistic for real life, but in the show they had to kill the people they were killing because they were being drawn down upon and they had to fire. So it's just like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I was just like, what am I? Somebody was just like, I want to do this. I want to do this morally kind of like not great thing. And I was just like, okay, I'll choose this dialogue option that says, hey, to do that morally reprehensible thing, you're going to have to go through me. And there was no follow-up to that dialogue at all. It was just literally, cowabunga, let's go. Like, I really want to do it, so yeah, I'll call you. I would like to go through you to do this. And I was just like, oh, okay, I guess there's no going back. I could have reloaded the save or whatever, but I don't want to do any of that sort of bullshit until after I've beaten the game clean once. I'll get the ending I get, you know?
Yeah.
My beautiful, powerful transgender barbarian woman with her penis D will lay waste to anyone that stands in her path, but will otherwise try to be heroic and cool.
A true gamer.
Yeah. Good stuff. Game of the year, for sure. Fuck Zelda. I mean, it's cool what they did, but if I wanted Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts, you know, we had that at home.
Yeah.
Bazinga. Okay, vamping over. Time for the boosh.
It's time for a light sampling of insanity. Get ready for the amuse-bouche.
Rare do you have any sort of news item, or even in this case, a news itemlet, that is a fight not happening, but somehow the worst people on Earth, Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, continue to not fight their way into quote-unquote headlines. Mike Raids, what's our update on Zuck v. Elon Musk, the fight that will never happen?
So Musk has decided to just basically go insane and scream and yell that he really wants to fight Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg at this point has said, you know what, Elon's never going to fight me. This is bullshit. I am going to continue training in jiu-jitsu and doing my thing and being part of a culture that honors what we're doing as a sport. And Musk can do whatever he wants. And Elon's response is this bizarre rant where he's talking about Zuckerberg, and he uses the term Zuck-my and then a tongue emoji as a way to describe Zuckerberg, which suck my tongue, which sounds very bizarre, and I don't understand.
That's an incredibly sexual thing. Like, when you tell somebody, hey, how about you suck my dick? Like, context and just generally the general use of the phrase has removed the sexual nature from it under most contexts. It's like the intonation's really important. Like, hey, suck my dick. I mean, that's different.
I
But
say
like,
it.
hey, how about you suck my dick? Right?
Yeah. Right.
Suck my tongue has no such power. Yo, how about you come over here and suck my tongue? That's always, like, even if you try to, you're going to get aggressively sexy at best. You're not going to be able to, like, the sexy undercurrent of that has not been worn away through general use.
Right. And the thing, and the whole thing about suck my dick is that there's like a dominance, there's like power where like, I'm subjugating you to do this thing because you are now subservient to me and have to pleasure me because I am the alpha and you are the beta. And whereas suck my tongue, like, what? We're French kissing? What are you going for here? This is bizarre.
Well, I mean, I feel like that, like, you know, if you've been to both places, you know that there's a hard line in the sand that separates a French kiss from a tongue suck.
Yes.
He wants a little smooch. Wants
Yeah,
a little
and also for
smooch.
the record, I've never had the tongue suck and had it just been like, now I feel like I'm the submissive. Like, it's still a pretty
Maybe
dominant
it's a Dalai
move.
Lama reference. You remember that?
Oh god, yeah, I do. I mean,
Sorry to bring that back.
Gross.
I erased it briefly,
that's
but it's
what-
back.
Yeah, that is actual a working theory that like Elon used that for the Dalai Lama months ago in a reply, and he just thinks that the world revolves around him so aggressively that we all remember that he said that about the Dalai Lama like 6 months ago or whatever.
Didn't you see my post, bro?
Exactly. Bro,
look, world. The tongue suck is like, it's sort of like a powerful move, and it should only be done like behind closed doors. Like, I don't want to see no tongue suck. You know, that's too much. French kissing is already like borderline, you know, because a lot of people are bad at it, and if you're bad at it and sloppy with it, it just looks really gross. So, like, you know, I don't need to see one of the most aggressively, like, there's no way to do it and make it look appealing, right? Like, it's appealing for the people doing and receiving it in the moment. But you know what? No tongue suck. We're calling it. Moratorium on it. Keep it behind closed doors.
yeah.
I'm not trying to kink shame you. I'm just saying, like, you know, keep the game you're playing in its appropriate field, you know?
Yeah.
You do whatever you want. But I do want to see Zuckerberg just like turn Elon Musk's face into mashed potatoes. You know? I just want to see it. But I think Elon knows it's going to happen. He knows he's weak and
Right.
soft-bodied
Yeah.
like me. And
Exactly. Yeah.
And
that should be one of our gimmicks, where because we're all woefully out of shape. One of us should call out some in shape, like right wing / QAnon promoter, and constantly talk about how we're going to beat the shit out of them, and they'll just be like, "Come on, bro, do it," because they would kill us, obviously, but we just never let it go. We just Elon them for no to the end of time itself. So Elon, on top of the weird Zuck my tongue thing, he then went on to state that he was going to take like a Tesla in some sort of autopilot mode, drive it to Zuckerberg's house, and then like spring out of the Tesla, knock on Zuck's door, and be like, "Bro, want to bang? You want to do this?" And like bow up to him at his
I'm here to
house.
suck your tongue.
Here to suck your tongue, bro. And
This Dalai Lama delivers.
and then apparently Elon claimed that he did it, and Zuckerberg, quote unquote, wasn't home, so he's ducking him. And it's so sad, because anyone who's not a ridiculous Elon fanboy and moron understands that the guy that actually trains in ground fighting, it has a massive advantage over the 52-year-old blob that literally, in Elon's world, he's made posts about this where he's just like, if Zuckerberg fought me, he would learn that weight classes exist for a reason. It's like, weight classes exist because when you're a trained fighter, they matter. But I'm a very large dude, and there are plenty of UFC and boxing fighters who weigh less than half my weight, who would kill me like instantaneously in a fight. I would stand.
Also, it's like a weird flex, bro. It's like, yeah, if Mark Zuckerberg fights me, he's gonna find out how truly fat I am.
Exactly.
Like, we've seen the pictures. We know that you're not like rippling with muscles. Like, I've seen you on a yacht, dude. Like, you're just like, I'm gonna easily crush him. I've got like 120 pounds on him. It's just like, yeah, okay. So you'd be well padded to the fight. I get it. Like, you know, I'm not saying it's not necessary. I'm not saying it's not an advantage. I guess it's just probably not the flex he thinks it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm much bigger than him, so that's going to matter, because you do understand what jiu-jitsu is, literally using your opponent's largeness against them as a disadvantage. Like, use your opponent's momentum to throw them and that kind of stuff. Like you're gonna square up. Zuckerberg is gonna hug you, trip you, and then you're gonna be on the ground. And I'm sure Elon has no concept of what ground fighting is. Because Haley was like, I want Zuckerberg to like smash his face. But what actually would happen, I think, in a fight would be Zuckerberg would knock him to the ground and then choke him out, and Elon would tap out like a bitch almost immediately. If only. Well, that was the thing I was thinking of when Elon was like, I'm going to knock on his door and it's on. I'm like, isn't this castle doctrine? Isn't Zuckerberg?
You're dead.
Isn't Zuckerberg allowed?
Yeah, I would love to see Zuck stand his ground with his bare hands and fists against a fucking, like, you know, cocaine fueled Elon Musk, just like fucking drives his like cyber truck up on the lawn and just opens up the door, is stinking of booze. Find me now, Zuck. And then Zuck just comes out and is like, all right, fine. I have been programmed for combat today. Wham, boom, and then you're dead.
Duel. The feudal lords should duel.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, but for that's what's so funny about all of this is that Elon backed himself into this corner where he has to like try to alpha himself up to be like, oh, I'll beat the shit out of Zuckerberg, when he knows the fight cannot happen without it ending in his humiliating defeat. So he can never back down, but he can never fight. So he's just a sad little. He's one of those little dogs. He's like a little chihuahua that's just barking and barking and barking, but he can never actually fight. And apparently, he leaked a text message to someone where he was texting with Zuck. He's like, "Hey Zuck, you want to do a practice round in your backyard just to see how it goes?" And Zuckerberg's like, "No, if we're going to fight, we're going to fight. I'm not going to give you a free round in private." And Elon's just like, it's like Elon doesn't even know what he wants except to just try to not be humiliated losing a fight to Zuckerberg that he initiated. He was the one who did all this shit.
Yeah,
Classic.
truly a power move. Call somebody out for a fight and then back down when they agree, because it's pretty obvious to everybody that they're going to fucking destroy you in a fight.
Yeah.
I mean, like he just keeps making these same mistakes, you know? Because again, this is sort of the exact same thing that happened when he was just like, "Fucking Twitter, I'll buy it for a high price," and they're just like, "Deal, sign the paperwork," and then he did
Fine,
it.
let's fight. Let's do it.
And then he got like buyer's remorse immediately. He's just like, I don't know about that. They're just like, no, it's happening. Like, so, you know, maybe he did learn a lesson. Maybe he's savvy enough this time around to not like put any fucking signatures down on paperwork so he can puff out his chest at Zuckerberg as long as he wants to. What a clown. Anyway, speaking of clowns, and moving on to our next boost topic, a thing that I honestly know nothing about is apparently some anti-Semitism in the music world. Some of that good old-fashioned anti-9/11, like, or 9/11 flavored anti-Semitism, I should say. So, Mike, what's going on in our what's going on in the charts? The charts with Mike Rains.
Okay, so there's this guy who like literally fell out of the sky, like Oliver Anthony.
AstroTurfed ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So this guy, this AstroTurfed fake ass, ridiculous quote unquote country singer that just fell out of the sky. He produced this video, which is him in the woods of Appalachia or whatever, and what's so funny about this is that people are acting like this is some sort of like impromptu performance when it was obviously shot on 3 professional cameras with cuts and editing and all this stuff.
The Men of Richmond, is that the name of the song?
Yeah, the Rich Men North of Richmond.
Yeah, okay.
And so it's the Rich Men North of Richmond is the song, and the song is supposed to be about the plight of the common man, the plight of the working man in America, and how how we all just can't get ahead because the corporate fat cats are taking our money and we're being taxed too much. But then our hero decides that the real problem in all of this isn't like the millionaires and billionaires. In the final verses of the song, he pisses and moans about overweight people using food stamps to buy fudge rounds, and he's just like
welfare queens.
Yeah,
this is
queens.
racialized.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. The term welfare queens is used, like, and so this led to a lot of people being like, "Well, this is another right-wing sack of shit going down the Jason Aldean, try that in a small town." Right-wing AstroTurf grift campaign, and then other people being like, "Bro, what are you talking about? This is a song about the common man. You're thinking too much about it, and like the welfare queen thing is just, I don't know, people that are like trying to scam the system. That ain't cool. Do you think that's cool?" And it's like, no, that was what Ronald Reagan used for when he was demonizing black people. And we know your codes. We've learned the code.
We know your dog whistles, buddies.
Right. So all of this shit happened, and it was very obvious that this guy was, and people bought his song on iTunes and did all that shit to like fake inflate his numbers and make him look like an overnight sensation.
Turning Point was like hyping the shit out of it, so he'll probably be at all the next Turning Point conferences. All those like that Jason Aldean, they were also pushing him. He'll probably be at their concert. It's just like all the grifters, you know, trying to boost this guy and his fudge round hating song.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Way to catch a stray, fudge rounds.
Yeah.
Fudge rounds are sitting there bothering nobody, and then all of a sudden this guy comes out and drags them into his fucking racist horse shit.
Well, you see, the problem is overweight people. That's why. That's the problem. Overweight people on welfare. He's a working man who is also struggling. But the problem is other working people who are also struggling.
Yeah. And our boy Oliver, not svelte. This was not a lanky, wiry dude getting in front of the camera here. Oliver could use some treadmill time himself. I
get through life by just believing that fat phobia is just folks' way of being upset that some of us are raising the bar for the expectations of their cunnilingus game.
Yeah.
Every fat dude I know is like a pussy eating virtuoso. So I mean,
they like to eat.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, some stereotypes are true, but it's just like if the rest of guys would just step up their game, maybe they wouldn't have to be so intimidated by it.
Yep, they're jealous of the studly fat man.
That's true. Yeah, dude, I'm the Chadley fat bro that they wish they could be.
Yeah, everybody loves a Tony Soprano,
Yeah, dude, for real. Tony Soprano is going to fuck you up, dude. A Wilson Fisk, get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like a little thing where there was some like overweight guy who was dancing with an e-girl, and people were like, "No, how could that e-girl be with him? This is so wrong." And it's like, well, he's got the Riz. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry.
I'm watching Beauty and the Geek right now. Beauty and the Geek from like early 2000s reality show.
Oh God, yeah, that's
Australian version. And there's like, the geeks are kind of Chadley by today's standards. There's like big boys in there. They got nerdcore going on, normie culture going on, styles that are in right now. So yes, big boys are in. We like. There's a song that's like about big boys. It was that
SNL song that went viral either
last winter. Yeah, dude, but that's like unironically.
I mean, yeah, boys. Hey, I'm like, Young Gravy is out there representing for the love of a mature woman, and that SNL bit is out there representing for love of the fat man.
We love all people
I'm in it. And back before she was getting canceled, Lizzo was out there getting people on board with the fat women train. So like, let's all just be horny in general. Am I right, guys?
Let's just love
forward.
People.
Yeah.
We like all body types here.
Yeah.
We don't blame them for the plight of the poor for some fucking reason in our shitty song with a banjo. Honestly, dude, that song sucks. I don't give a fuck. I know some people.
Well, yeah, it's a country song, isn't it?
Yeah, but I know some people are like, oh, it's kind of catchy. I guess if you're into that kind of music, no, fuck that song. Fuck that song. Fuck that song. I'm sorry. It's a bad song all around.
I'm not trying to gatekeep or anything. People are allowed to like what they like. And if you
I don't yuck yums. You can like country music, but like, come on, man. This shit is just like, it's not even, it's fake. It's fake. It's Turning Point USA fucking manufactured fake country music. It's bullshit. Also, we didn't even get into the best part.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the best part. So, our buddy here, who like people were pointing this out immediately. This guy was the most obvious milkshake duck in the history of the universe, where it was 100% the other shoe was going to drop on this guy right quick.
Wow! Again, milkshakes catching a weird stray in this fucking God.
Yeah. So what happened was, eventually someone found his YouTube playlist that was public, and in his YouTube playlist it had a few videos about how the Jews did 9/11, which, oh man, knocked me over with a feather. I can't believe the guy that was astroturfed and coming up with a right-wing culture war song has weird opinions about 9/11 and the Jews. Can't believe it. So stunning. It's always the ones you most expect. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, I mean, well, like, it becomes more obvious that the Jews are responsible with more than 20 years in hindsight as their plan starts to bear fruit. Yeah. I don't know. What the fuck was the end goal of the Jews doing 9/11? You know what? Let's not get into it because it's clearly not the truth.
They wanted the memes, the 9/11 memes.
That's
I guess, yeah. They wanted it to be so dank and funny. They wanted
dank memes.
They wanted it to be really uncomfortable when you watch any movie like that's like set in New York before 2000. Yeah, there's always like a big lingering shot on the iconic Twin Towers, and you're just like
Spider-Man 1. It's like, oof, he's on that.
They put that trailer very quickly.
Sex in the City. It's like, hey, what happened in between those seasons?
Yeah, it makes that scene really awkward where the two ladies are getting railed, like looking at each other through binoculars from the opposite windows of the Twin Towers. That's it. I mean, it's true. Unless you have like the old like the first run print DVD copies of it, you're gonna get the censored version of that. Now that they're just in two regular apartment buildings, it really takes a lot of the majesty out of it.
It was literally, totally, it could have been an episode.
I've never seen a single episode of Sex in the City. Shocking, I know.
It's just having sex in the city. So your episode is with like different people that you're like, hey, I remember that. Hey, that guy. Hey, it's Vince Vaughn. Hey, it's Sam Cedar.
I just remember the one thing I know about Sex in the City is that it was the show that made Sarah Jessica Parker famous. So then I got to deal with all of my friends just being like, Sarah Jessica Parker, what a dog, what a weird looking face. And I was
Dude,
just
she's not.
yeah, totally. And then in my head, I was just like, I don't know. I think she's pretty hot, actually.
She's hot. She looks
I'm not
good
gonna
in
lie.
Sex and the City. She's fashion icon.
Yeah.
I don't think she's a good character, personally. I don't want to get into Sex and the City lore. This is too much information about me. But
I mean, I assure you that I personally would find it 1,000 times more interesting than any of the stuff we have to talk about on the podcast.
I'm
this
Team
week.
Samantha all the way, you know? But there's good outfits in the show. I'm an outfit person. I think we've kind of learned this with Barbie.
That's unfortunate, because doesn't that mean that you're priced into liking that movie Cruella because the only thing it did right was look good fashion-wise?
You know, I don't know, but black and white, not my thing.
Ooh, wow. See, I mean, that's bold. Yeah, Haley on the record, not seeing race.
I mean, I didn't mean it that way. I meant the color scheme on the pattern, like a dead like a dead Dalmatian. That's what I meant.
Nobody
it's either got to be like an all black outfit, or like I like either the outfit is like you got to be like a hyper maximalist, like crazy looking, all colors, or just like pretty standard goth, hard goth. That's my favorite looks. The dead Dalmatian look is not my thing, so I didn't ever have interest in the Cruella movie. Barbie though.
And also,
I still want to see that.
Also, that movie features that interracial couple. Yuck.
I did not mean that. I'm gonna get clipped.
Anyway,
no, I meant dead dogs.
I'm trying to segue away from it. You're just digging yourself into a hole. Are we done talking about that dig dog who thinks the Jews did 9/11? Was that all for him for now?
Yeah, his 15 minutes of fame are basically up at this point. So
yeah, I think they're done by the time this episode drops.
Okay, well then it's time for our Arizona Right Wing Watch Racial Purity segment of the week. Sorry, I had my notes confused. Arizona breakdown for the week. Haley, what's going on in the beautiful state of Arizona this week?
Well, we haven't gotten to indictment stuff because that's in queues in the news, but you know, we'll get to that later. Nothing really too wild happening in Arizona this week. Mark Fincham went on. Mark Fincham was the guy that was the Secretary of State candidate last year, the Republican candidate. He is gonna run probably again for a seat in the state Senate here because he's just like addicted to losing. But he went on the X.
It's the conservative way.
Report.
They love losing. They love losers. They like, you know, the really hardcore ones idolize Hitler. The regular middle of the street ones idolize the Confederacy. A lot of them love Jesus, and I don't know if you guys read that book, but that dude got caught by the enemy and then murdered by them. So that seems like an L.
True. Yeah. But yeah, X-22 report, Mike. That's a QAnon show. Is that guy have a name?
I believe the X-22 report guy is just known as Dave. Somehow he's run an incredibly popular QAnon like podcast / live stream, and he's still anonymous. It's super weird. I don't know how Ron DeSantis had like one of his cabinet members go on the show, and still nobody knows who's hosting it. It's the most bizarre show in the right wing QAnon griftosphere.
Like Wendy Rogers has been on it, Carrie Lake.
Yeah, and I guess they just like say hi Dave or whatever when they're on the show because it's just this anonymous dude who is the host. It's super fucked up. But yeah, so Fincham was on X-22 doing that stuff.
Yeah, he was talking Sinaloa cartel conspiracies, which is that's good that has stuck in the Arizona conspiracy like zeitgeist, you know. Thanks, Liz Harris. She took a bullet for that one. She got expelled, but like that
hey,
lives on forever.
Yeah, sometimes you have to take one for the team to push the conspiracy narrative forward.
Yep, she did that. She did a good job on that one. You know, she'll be back again some other way anyway, just like Mark Fincham trying to come in. He was like talking about, because you know 2024 is coming up and they're not going to be like passively dealing with this election. They're going to be actively trying to disrupt it. And yeah, he was talking about how, like, you remember how we had the cyber ninja audit I know we're going back. And then there was that like fake canvas that was kind of attached to it. That was Liz Harris also. That was her thing. Queen. And that was where she got in trouble. Like she got warned by the like actual DOJ Civil Rights Division, like, hey, you're harassing voters, lady. But they still did like a report for the audit. And Fincham was talking about how we should use like the canvas people to basically go over the voter rolls and purge anybody who doesn't have like a permanent residential address. So they're talking about like purging homeless people, it sounds like. Because he was complaining like, oh, only people who have a permanent address should be allowed to vote here. Like, there's people that register to mailboxes and register to, you know, all kinds of places. And it's like, this is kind of, I mean, it's just a way to disenfranchise certain people, like homeless people, but also like people on tribal land here, because they rely on sometimes like community mailboxes or the drop boxes to vote. So it's just like, they're cooking us something up.
It's voter suppression. It's just voter suppression all the way. And I remember Ron Watkins being the guy who's like, I'm the candidate who's going to the tribal lands and talking to them. And it's like, buddy, you have no solutions for them because you're a Republican. Just don't kid yourself.
Yeah, their solutions are actually to like get rid of their vote.
For posing in front of a chain link fence in his cowboy boots with a shotgun or whatever, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Really exuding a powerful masculine energy. It's like, wow, you can feel it right off the page.
Yeah.
Okay, so Arizona, still the capital of...
I'm sorry, Elle, I know you don't like politics. That's so in the weeds.
No,
I won't even get to the Board of Supervisors drama, but we'll move on.
I have banished myself to a political comedy show of my own volition, so I can't complain when we talk about politics on the show.
Yeah,
I'm a masochist, you know. Like we're just really getting all my kinks out on the air.
Yeah.
We already talked about Dalmatians earlier. I mean, God, one guy can only get so hard. Anyway, speaking of hard, let's hard segue into our Cues of the News segment.
From the digital headlines to the digital front lines, it's Cues in the News.
You know, I didn't want to talk about this at all, but Mike Raines, ghoul that he is like, damn it, Elle, if it bleeds, it leads. Yeah, that's right. I'm throwing Mike under the bus, too. Mike and Haley both get under that bus. That bus is coming. I need both of you to get under it. No, just... So, tragically, we have to talk about the tragedy of the Maui wildfires. I think that you would imagine that our stupid political show couldn't possibly have any reason to discuss, because how could you possibly politicize a tragedy that is a wildfire destroying a city and causing like hundreds of lives to be lost? Well, we're about to tell you, because boy howdy, that's what you're here listening to the show for. I have to imagine that this was going to be a doozy. So Mike Raines, tell us, why are we talking about the devastation in Maui this week?
Because the devastation in Maui cannot be caused by climate change and all kinds of other things that we
colonialism,
all that's good stuff. I mean, it couldn't be any of those things. It couldn't be any of the man-made things that we can see with our eyes. It has to be the fact that the deep state used directed energy weapons to shoot lasers at Maui to blow up this city and burn it down so that it can be then converted into a 15-minute city as per the deep state's nefarious goals. That was theory number one. Because 15-minute cities...
Oh, good. It didn't stop there.
No.
They're just like, step number one, the Illuminati and the deep state used their satellite death laser to destroy this town in Maui.
Step one, acquire underpants. Step two, question mark. Step three,
that's like
it's
the tip of the iceberg.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Remember a few months back when icebergs were all the rage on YouTube?
Or snow?
All the kids wanted to be an iceberg.
Yeah. Oh God, we had the fake snow conspiracy theories for a while. People were putting snow in microwaves and freaking out. It's like, oh my God,
lighter to the snow.
Yep.
All weather is fake.
Yeah,
is what I'm learning from these.
Right. So,
well, yeah. I mean, our disc-shaped Earth doesn't support the weather patterns they claim to give you. You know,
right. So that was the 15-minute cities was option A of why the Jewish space lasers were used to destroy Maui. Then option B became the fact that Oprah Winfrey is destroying all of this property near her property, which was mysteriously untouched by the fires, I might add. And that now Oprah is going to just buy up all the land from all these devastated people and just create her massive Oprah Island utopia paradise, which may become the new Epstein Island or something for the ultra elites to traffic their adrenochrome children.
I love the idea that after 40 years or whatever of being beloved by almost everybody, Oprah would take this moment to just be like, the time is now. Do the thing with the poorest optics of all time.
Start the lasers.
Yeah, she's just like, I called it the laser strike, and now I'm going to buy up all the property. And I'm tired of being beloved. Time to be behated.
Also, Ukraine. There's Ukraine involved. I saw a lot of Ukraine posting.
Wow, damn! Oprah must be really pissed off that A Wrinkle in Time or whatever that movie was called didn't do anything. She must be furious that nobody went to go see that. She's like, "I'll fucking show you."
It was bad.
Satellite strike Ukraine, satellite strike Maui, satellite strike everybody. The Arctic ice shelf. A laser strike for everybody.
So, the Ukraine thing is basically a bunch of conservatives claiming that the current funding for the Hawaii relief effort pales in comparison to the U.S. support for Ukraine's war against Russia, and all of Hawaii's precious money is going to Ukraine. How do you like that, libs? And it's like, we don't actually just hand Ukraine buckets of cash. We're giving them surplus military shit. I don't know how many F-16s are going to help Maui right now. It's like, hey, Hawaii, we see that city burned down. Would you like some Abrams tanks? Would those help you rebuild your community? No, they wouldn't.
Also, if this was a slow, steady wall of fire that we could have boots on the ground, taking measures to abate, the conversation would be different. But the reality of the situation is the money that's going to Maui is going to rebuild Maui. There's nothing to be saved. That part is just over. It's done for them. Russia is trying to do that to all of Ukraine.
Yeah. And the final conspiracy theory, which these people this is a thing that people love to bring up after these wildfires happen, is they have the photos of basically houses that have collapsed. Basically, everything is collapsed because the fire has burned them down. And then they'll say, but why are the trees still standing? And the trees aren't load-bearing walls that are burned, which is why they don't fall over. And B, the trees are probably dead and they're probably singed. But trees in the summer are alive and they're full of water. So when a fire ravages them, a lot of times the water inside the tree puts the fire out after the tree has already suffered lethal damage, most likely. But if the tree survives, why are you mad at the tree? I just love the idea that the deep state is release the fire that only burns down houses. Save the tree. This is tree saving fire. And it's no. If you had a house that was just slathered with water inside all of the wood inside that house, it would probably be weirdly not conducive to being built. But if it was made, it'd probably be pretty good against a fire. I mean, the house would probably be still incredibly damaged. You might have to tear it down, but having lots of water inside something makes it harder to burn. This really isn't that tricky a concept for people to understand. But yet, every time there's a mass fire, this comes up. Just why aren't the trees burned down? What the fuck?
Yeah, they do that in Arizona.
Conservatives love being confused. Oh, sorry.
No, it's
conservatives love being confused about what fire can and can't do, because again, that's part of the 9/11 trutherism. Those folks just cannot imagine a fire so hot that it can melt metal.
It literally was 9/11 trutherism on the timeline, but for Maui wildfires. That was exactly what I felt like. A lot of it was. It was fire can't melt.
Yeah, everybody's a fucking expert on fire all of a sudden. As soon as this happens, everybody's a fire scientist. Everyone's just I know exactly what fire is and is not capable of doing, and this doesn't add up.
I'm putting two and two together and coming up with this wasn't a regular fire. This was deep state fire.
I did like that there was a lot of conversation about like a church that didn't burn, that was kind of in the middle of the fire, and that was proof of, God's love, obviously. So there's like this simultaneous proof that like the church didn't burn because God, but the trees not burning is proof that it's laser beams by the Jews.
And then the door bursts open, and the person inside the religious building comes out, and they're just like, "Yes, Allah truly is great," and everyone's just like, "Ooh, I mean, ooh."
Oh God, that'd be so awesome if like just in the middle of Maui there was just like this perfectly untouched mosque that just, oh man, just everyone's like, no, now our hatred is even stronger. I mean,
obviously, so a town burns down, the church survives, like to Christian God, like obviously God is great, saved that, and then if the same thing happened, it was religious building to any other religious institution. Oh, dude, they definitely caused that. The devil did that with their help. They were in on it.
Yeah. I remember when we did the Fall Cabal series, there were trees that would burn from the inside out, and that was one of her conspiracy theories. And people talked about how if a tree gets hit by lightning, this can happen, or if a tree has some sort of hole on the outside of the tree that leads to the inside of the tree, if fire gets in there, it will burn the tree from the inside out. Just people really can't grasp how trees burn. It's mind-blowing.
Which is crazy, because there's footage of that you can watch on YouTube, and it does look really crazy. When people like find a tree that happens to be in the process of burning from the inside out, they're just like filming it. It looks wild.
Yes. Yeah,
anyway.
It's nuts. So
no, it's Chinese
people are stupid morons. So of course, this Maui tragedy couldn't simply be an effect of climate change and weather patterns and just like an unfortunate set of circumstances.
Turning Hawaii into like a military base / tourist resort / just poisoning their water supply and just the general climate change of the world, just decimating a tiny island in the middle of a zone that's probably going to be affected by this.
So I encourage you to take your money and do everything you can to take advantage of the lowered property values, like a bunch of white ghouls.
Oh, dude, that's so going to happen.
Yeah, it absolutely is. The people there are already terrified of it. They've been saying it during interviews. They're just like, we're really worried that white people are going to buy all the rebuilt property. And that
donate to Maui Strong. Donate to mutual aid groups. Help the people on the ground, not the... Yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a shitty.
Don't go to Hawaii.
Don't go to Hawaii.
Like or Maui at least. Like like if you got to go to Hawaii, just avoid Maui for like indefinite, like 2 years or whatever. Just
Oh, the one last conspiracy theory I was going to bring up was our favorite poster of child porn on the internet, Dom Lucre, was just like Obama's estate wasn't touched by the fires, and Obama's estate's on a different island. Like Dom Lucre is just outright fucking lying to his audience and treats them. Yeah, he's just absolutely has no respect for his audience. Like Obama's estate is not on Maui; it's on a different island. So, weirdly enough, when the fire got to the ocean, it didn't burn the ocean and make its way to Obama's estate.
Oh, give it time. With enough time and effort, people, we can make the oceans flammable.
Yes.
Oh yeah, nice.
We've made rivers burn in America before. We can do this.
Yeah, we're great at burning stuff in America.
To paying that Dom Lucre guy.
Yes.
Shout out, you fuck.
Yep. Yes.
We're so in love with burning stuff in America. Somehow the Ku Klux Klan, like Christian religious organization, got into their heads that a powerful display of intimidation would be burning their own religious effigy. It's just like, I've always wanted to see the fucking cross that Jesus was crucified on, like literally burning in flames. That would be really cool. How can we maybe do that in a way that's not blasphemy? And they're just like, okay, yes, we'll just make it part of our racist hate ritual, and then people will be too busy being like, wow, what a bunch of racist fucks, to ever wonder, why do they like their own... What? That's crazy. We'll show you. Yeah. We'll erect our own religious symbol in your yard and then burn it. Oh. Like imagine if that was how they displayed their patriotism. Like they just showed up to some fucking black folks' house and they were just like, we don't want you here, and they just unfurled a huge American flag and laid it on their lawn, just lit it on fire.
Boom! Burning the American flag for freedom.
dude, why are racists so fucking stupid? I mean, like, aside from the racism, like, it's just like, wow, it's so crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm just imagining that T-shirt where they're like fire isn't for the flag, it's for the cross. Just like, yeah, burn the cross, yeah. It's good to do that. Like, so
what would happen if Jesus like showed up? Like Jesus did, in fact, like it was the day Jesus came back, and like one of the first things he saw, he stumbles across one of those like cross burning rituals.
Deported.
Well, yes, they would beat him to death. Obviously, they'd be like, "What are you doing here, brownie?" They'd be like, "Oh, I'm Jesus Christ!" Before you can even get it out, they just pummeling him.
This guy's crazy. Deport his ass.
Actually,
that's what they would say.
Pure lily white Jesus, ginger Jesus steps out of the tree line.
The thing that I'm just because the whole cross thing is so weird. I'm just imagining Jesus like descending from the heavens, lands, sees the Klan burning a cross. He's like, "Damn right, burn that thing! It fucking killed me. I hate it." And then they're all just like, "Wait, no, but it's our symbol to celebrate you." And then Jesus is like, "What? The device that killed me is your symbol for celebrating me? What? I don't even understand what's going on." Jesus deports himself.
I can't stop picturing ginger Jesus coming through the bushes. And at first they're very pumped to see that their white Jesus has arrived. But then when they realize he's like a ginger or whatever, they're just like, ooh,
pass.
Well, we don't really like the Irish either, you know? Like, sorry, Jesus, it's a bum rap, but...
Yeah.
Like, so have we tried Mormonism yet?
Yeah. Somebody get Moroni on the line.
Oh, thank God. I think we had like a 3-pod streak of no Moroni. Thank God we broke that.
Yeah, dude.
Moroni back in the pod.
Moroni really is our co-pilot, you know?
He is.
When the podcast is floundering, it's then that Moroni carries us.
Yes.
But, you know, fucking, unlike our man Joe Smith or whatever, fucking, we definitely not getting any gold from Moroni over here, you know? Direct me to some gold. I don't give a fuck about the message on it. I would just love some gold plates.
Yes.
You dig? I could fucking hawk those immediately.
100%. Gonna be putting that shit on Etsy like you read about.
Yeah. Then some hipster could find out the secret second word of God from Jesus when he was just like, you know, I came to America and I thought it was going to be pretty cool, but then I ran into these idiots and they were burning crosses on somebody's lawn, and I was like, man, that kind of sucks. So I decided to do another set of plates and just be like, hey, the word from Jesus is don't judge ginger people and don't burn crosses. I feel like this is supposed to be pretty self-evident, but I guess not. So here's your second set of tablets. Signed, Jesus.
Yes.
Okay, I guess it was inevitable. Let's get to our weekly discussing of Donald Trump, because boy howdy, this week is a doozy, as the Georgia indictments finally came down and they were quite potent.
Yes.
Mike Reyes, let's talk about the quite potent nature of these indictments, the stiff RICO-like indictments, you know?
Yes, the RICO Suave indictments that Donald Trump is facing. So, on the other cases, Trump himself has been the sole target in Florida. He's got literally a pool boy or a guy who tried to destroy a pool or whatever it was, and the guy that helped him move the boxes. But they're nobodies. No one ever heard of. This case in Georgia involves RICO, and basically the Georgia prosecutors were just like, if you got within 6 miles of this fucking state and tried to do any shit here, you are indicted or you are an unindicted co-conspirator. Because the 19 people were indicted, and there's like 30 unindicted co-conspirators that are named in the indicting documents. So fucking everybody here got their time in the barrel, their moment of glory. Some of the better indictments here involve Rudy Giuliani and Jenna Ellis and our boy Cheesebro. Yes. So all of these bags of shit that were part of Trump's campaign, Mark Meadows, he got himself an indictment.
Eastman.
Yep, Eastman. Oh, Jesus. The Kraken, Sidney Powell.
That's such a good one.
If you were one of the 6, I don't think the unindicted co-conspirator number 6 in Jack Smith's case got indicted, but unindicted co-conspirators 1 through 5 in Jack Smith's January 6th case were all indicted in Georgia for their crimes here. And this is a RICO statute, which is basically saying this was a criminal organization that was working to do a thing, aka overturn the election in Georgia. And while Trump wasn't directly directing these people to do each specific act they were doing, everything they were doing was in furtherance of overturning the election in Georgia, which is the underlying crime that they're all being charged for. I think my favorite indictment is Kanye's publicist, the lady that was torturing Ruby Freeman and her daughter and pulling all kinds of shit. I remember reading people talking about that saying, God, I hope Yee's publicist gets pinched for this because the shit she did was fucking wrong. And it's like, boom, she did. So enjoy that. And it feels like you are a small fish that may be tied to Yee or Trump or beyond. So, there's a lot of people that are indicted here who are very likely to flip. And of them, definitely, she's like grade A, number one cut there.
Sidney Powell is so fucked.
Oh,
Halloween costume. I gotta find a good outfit of hers.
Yes. God.
Another outfit god, Sidney Powell.
Yes.
Oh yeah, are you gonna have like a Halloween rotation, like sassy ladies of the Republican Party?
Oh, I should.
Yeah, you should like set up your Halloween weekend to just be a numerous parties where you go to them as Carrie Lake, as Sidney Powell, at Tulsi Gabbard.
Get the streak.
Yes, yes. Oh, that would be awesome. Try to find some more deep cuts in there.
Oh, yeah. Screw Salem, Massachusetts. The spirit of Halloween is going to be alive in Arizona this year.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Trevelyan Cuddy, I believe, is the name of Kanye's publicist, who I may have not said that right, but yeah, that was
the name that you did say was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Trevelyan Cuddy.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, that's my next BG3 character name. Yo, what's going on?
Bentley.
Yeah, her last name. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's got the word "wad" in it. How cool could it really be?
Yeah, her last name is Kutti, so that looks like Cuddy to me. So. Yeah, but man, just it's really kind of funny because like in DC, it felt like Jack Smith was just literally like, I am creating a case to get Trump and him. I'm just bringing his ass down. Whereas Georgia was like, you're all going down, every last fucking one of you. So the other fun shit that's going on in Georgia is they said that everyone has until August 25th to turn themselves in, or arrest warrants will be issued against them. So we're going to have numerous perp walks of these people either getting arrested or showing up to be arraigned for their crimes.
So many T-shirts. So many mugshot T-shirts.
Yep, and that's the big one, is that Trump is getting mugshotted, and his official height and weight will be taken during that process.
I was wrong. I could get harder.
Watch him be like 4'3". It's like, how do we not know?
Yeah, it's great. They've got him up on a stool, and we're just like, oh my god, how did they keep this a secret? They were the ones using the holograms.
I would also like to, I believe it was Elle, so I'm just gonna give Elle credit for it anyways, but I remember that last week we were talking on the pod about how Trump is going to be wearing the most aggressive lifts possible to try to get to 6'4" on the mugshot.
Yeah, he's gonna come out on like full on carnival stilts to take that mugshot. And he's gonna, like, Peter Jackson and Weta are gonna come out for some forced perspective shots for that mugshot.
Yeah, but the reason why I brought it up was because I've already seen QAnon creating fake mugshots, and they have Trump at 6'4". So we accurately pinned QAnon's mythical height for Trump.
They're like, our daddy is big.
Yeah, our daddy.
I chose 1 inch taller than me because I'm like. I would like to call like I consider myself at the short end of tall. You know what I mean? Because like my whole life I'm just like, yeah, I'm tall, but when I'm next to somebody who's like 6'6", I'm like, holy shit, like, oh my god, you know. So I was just like, 1 inch taller than me seems pretty good.
Yeah,
that's right. Put Donald Trump next to me. I'll destroy him. I'm like Donald Trump. I'm taller, I'm heavier, and I'm fatter than you. I'm just better. My hands are bigger. I'm just greater than you in every way.
When Georgia releases his official weight, it is going to be so delicious. Just because like that's one of QAnon's, like they're just like this rocky Adonis, this chiseled god.
It's all muscle.
It's all muscle. He's Kingpin.
Yeah. Donald Trump is 4'4" and like 600 pounds. He's made of like uranium. He's just like ultra dense.
Yeah. Yeah. So that the mugshot is going to be incredible. Those details are going to be awesome and so humiliating. Someone already mentioned that like cringe libs on Etsy are just going to break the site with all the merch they're going to have from the mugshots, and it's like, yeah, and they deserve it. Fuck you. It's going to be great.
I'm interested to see how the right wingers will like reclaim it and make their own types of T-shirts. It'll be like political prisoner or something.
Oh, yeah,
you know.
Yeah, too extreme for the establishment.
They're not coming after me. They're coming after you. Yeah.
I'm just in the way.
Yeah, on the back.
Yep, exactly. All of that. Or maybe they'll just not understand that less is more. They'll just have it all on the front. Way too much. It'll just be way too much text. Yeah, you just can't even see Trump's face behind it. Just fucking text everywhere.
Wait a minute.
Classic right wing shirt.
Less is more? Why didn't anybody tell me before I became a big fat guy? Oh, beads! I thought more was more. It seemed so obvious.
Damn it. Fucking what tricked again. Just the way of the world.
So how fucked is Trump this time? It seems pretty fucked, right? RICO charges are a pretty big deal.
Yeah, this is really bad. I've seen a bunch of people stating that like this case against him is ridiculously strong, and the real problem here is, from everything I'm reading in Georgia, RICO charges carry a minimum of 5 years in prison, and it's not probation. You just have to do 5 years minimum. So all of the other 18 co-defendants that are with him, they all face this. So there's a massive incentive to flip and to testify. I think someone mentioned that the last time this DA did a RICO case, she started with like 31 defendants, and by the time she went to trial, she had like 12. Because basically everyone was like, yo, deal please. One deal for me, por favor. And then just...
yes, I would like to turn on my co-conspirators immediately, please, if that's on the table.
Yes, exactly.
As you're being arrested, like before you're even at the station, they're just like, they're at your house and they're putting the handcuffs on you. You're just like, yes, I'd like to make it clear that I would like to roll on my co-conspirators.
Yes.
Yes, I know everything that I say can be used against me in the court of law. I'm hoping.
Yeah. My lawyer's card just pulled up. My lawyer's here. They'll be working with you for my deal. My deal that I'll be taking.
Yeah, where's your body cam? You just let me look right into it. I want a deal.
Yes.
I want a deal.
Yeah. So, yeah, it is. This is, and the best part about this, of everything, even as great as the mugshot and all the rest of it is the fact that Georgia has also stated that this trial will be televised. That 100% cameras will be allowed in the courtroom. We are going to televise this trial.
You want to go?
Oh, yes, road trip. We're gonna start. We're gonna have to start a Kickstarter. We're HellwQrld in Georgia. We're just gonna live in Georgia for a month.
I'll go to Georgia for a while. I don't mind.
Yes,
there's shit to do there.
The problem with traveling for podcast related stuff is that all these places are like in the South. You know.
Yes.
Which isn't to say that like places in the South can't be fun, but I don't want to travel to exclusively the South.
Yeah.
I have nothing wrong with the South, pro-South, except you're not like pro-South, but you know what I mean. But
nope, okay, wow,
not like that. But you know, like I'm not anti-Southern. You know, there's a lot of Southern leftists.
Black and white.
Southern
Haley really making.
Yep, I'm making my big debut. I gotta
planted her flag, and it is.
You know, I'm not usually recorded all the time, so I gotta start watching how I word things.
Editor, do you want to cut this out? What's that? We don't have an editor?
Nothing. Okay. Hey, iHeartRadio.
Nice. Yeah.
Stop making me help me edit. iHeartRadio.
I was technically born in the South, although I haven't been in the South for like
I have a good old Southern
now.
Grandpa, so I
could not have been like some would argue that I could not have been born more in the South if we're talking about the good old Confederate South.
I would like to believe he's not pro-Confederate, but you never fucking know. You know, I don't get the opinions of Grandpa.
Who, me? I mean, I think they're great.
Oh, that'll make it his debut.
Death to Lincoln. Anyway, sorry.
I'm gonna log on next week to the internet, and Haley's just gonna have a hit single from the country music. I'm like, no,
Yep.
Haley, no.
I don't know why, but when the way that you said those words made you sound like such an incredibly old man. When the next time I log on to the internet, I mean, do you have a cell phone? When are you ever not logged on to the internet?
Dial-up.
Yeah, time for me to crank this dial and just let her rip.
Hey, I gotta hear those dulcet tones of the AOL modem gurgling and giggling its way into getting me on the internet.
The other day when I was at work, I answered the phone because it's part of my job description, but somebody was trying to call into our fax line because we're a business, so we need to sometimes fax shit. So I got to hear like a screech. It wasn't the same familiar screech, but it was a screech I had not heard in a long time. And I was like, that's unsettling. Yikes. But it did make me feel a little nostalgic.
Yeah.
Unsettling yet nostalgic. You know, like episodes of The Cosby Show.
Yes.
Shout out to our Southern listeners. I'm not pro-Confederate.
Just
before
we segue to anything else, Haley just needed to be clear that she loves not the Confederacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna check her Instagram tonight, and it's gonna be the meme of the white flag and saying "Only true flag of the Confederacy." It's just like, boom, you guys lost the Civil War, you pieces of shit.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you know, who could really say what Haley believes about the Confederacy? We're getting such mixed signals. Okay, before we move away from the Trump thing, I gotta ask, because technically it's what our show is about. How is Q feeling about these hot new indictments? Is this finally the 4D chess at play? Is this the first arrest? What's happening?
So there are people on like Chan boards and shit talking about the standard. We gotta find the grand jury people and harass them, if not terrorize them outright, and all that good stuff. But there are also the people who are just absolutely bound and determined to let you know how everything's going great, how you dumb libs think you've got Trump, but boy howdy, is he going to turn this all back around on you? Trump himself has stated that on Monday he's going to release a report that's going to exonerate him totally, which is like, I wonder if he got some packet captures from Mike Lindell or something. Like,
yeah, I was literally thinking, I hope this is a disaster on the level of the MyPillow like packet capture symposium or whatever, where it's like, here's our evidence, and anytime now, don't worry, it's coming.
Yes. So like QAnon's excited for that, and they have this meme that is their new go-to meme for the beta loser male that hates Trump. And it's like it's one of the two neckbeard guys that's doing the pointing thing, the point meme. But now it's just him. And he's yelling. He's saying, "Honey, bring your boyfriend. They finally got Trump this time." And it's like, hey, don't knock the polyamorous relationship these anti-Trump people are having. They're enjoying their life, and they're enjoying Trump's recent indictments. So, hey, it's a thing. Get over yourselves. But it's just that. It's that thing where it's just like, yeah, these beta weakling cucks think Trump's going down this time, but they're totally wrong. Trump's like playing the 7D chess. He's got it all mapped out, and like this phony indictment from Georgia is just going to collapse like everything else will. And it's so crazy to me, just the way these people are so beholden to Trump. I don't think any of them really understand how bizarre this is going to be, where we're going to have a campaign where Joe Biden is going to be like touring all the swing states, giving the Bidenomics speech to rallies of people, shaking hands and kissing babies and doing all that stuff.
He was just here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was in Arizona talking about manufacturing and all the good stuff that was going on down there.
And the Grand Canyon Monument.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And
what about the secret Egyptian caves?
You know?
That's for a different podcast, I guess. Yeah. That's if we ever really want to go, off the rails and have like an actual full-on conspiracy podcast.
Yeah.
Let Cool Cat L hip you this jive, Daddy-O. What if there were secret Egypt mummy tombs in the Grand Canyon, you dig?
Yes.
Sound unbelievable? Well, shut up.
There's a lot of conspiracies about the Grand Canyon, you know.
Yeah, I mean it's a big
hole.
majestic hole, you know. And what man has never aspired to make up a story about a big hole?
All of us. It is all humanity has ever done. I mean, that's
there, you know. And then there's that other conspiracy theory about what's his face, like Diggory's hole or whatever, the secret hole to nothingness that exists somewhere in the American Southwest.
We have a lot.
It turns out that people love a hole.
Yeah, we have the meteor crater. You know Meteor Crater.
Yeah, Junji Ito's seminal work about everyone's unique hole.
Yes.
Arizona's just got a lot of holes.
I've often said that about Arizona. It's a very holy place. Yes,
it is. Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's the capital of conservative conspiracy wackiness. It's like their mecca.
A little bit. They got a little bit of a heavy mention in the recent indictments. Arizona, we got like 35 or so separate mentions throughout that.
Oh yeah.
Giuliani's bit, it like mentions his hearing that he held here at the Phoenix Hyatt. It was like a 12-hour hearing, just like parading like every fuck lying about the election that you could think of at the time. Mark Fincham, Phil Aldrin, a bunch of the people that would kind of help with the audit. So yeah, I hope that they also get fucked. It'll be funny. We also have a big old slate of phony electors here. And you know, I just looked, and because the Arizona Republican Party tweeted a video of them all signing the phony elector, you know, scheme. Like them signing the fake papers. It's still up. They still have it up. It's the signing. That's what it says. It's
I love the idea of our massive crime online.
There it is.
Never taking down their crime. It's just, I'm just imagining Lee Harvey Oswald putting a GoPro on his rifle as he shot Kennedy, and he's just like, boom. How you like that? Boom.
Never deleted.
It would have been tough though, because all the like ambient moisture in the sewers would have destroyed the camera.
Yes.
Those are the early days of GoPro, you know.
Also, they got Trump's DMs.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's.
Oh yeah. We did talk about how they fully fucking subpoenaed like his Twitter account, and then he's like furious. He's like, "What?
See, I'm talking about
it's just
hole.
it's like he. Oh, yeah, talking about a huge hole. Yeah, Trump's huge hole.
So many people sending hole to that account. It's like, oh no.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, dude, I bet there are a bunch of thirsty pro-Trump ladies trying to just bomb it. I would love to go through that. I would love to see that level of conservative wackadoo punani and Pinani. I'm sure there's a bunch of dongs in there too. I'll scroll through them.
Even anti-Trump people, like, hey, look at this.
Yeah, I look at the whole shebango, you know?
Yes.
Do I get to see that as part of Discovery? Do I get to discover a world of labia?
Yeah. Oh, we get to do Passer Smash for Trump's DMs and all the weirdos that posted stuff there. Oh man.
Yeah. Although, for the record, this is all jokes. Those people did not consent to show us their nudes, so it wouldn't be our place to judge them.
Only Trump.
But I am saying for the record, if you're hate listening to this and you would, I don't have Twitter anymore because they changed it to X. Yeah. You know what? Just send those pictures of your junk to Mike, and he'll get them to me, and then I'll judge them for you.
Yeah.
me and Mike will look at your juicy Republican private parts and tell you whether or not they're pretty nice.
Yes.
You know, people send. Watch it be like Kimberly Guilfoyle and shit that sent him like sex.
That would be great. Oh, dude, I would love to hear about like how many times did Carrie Lake try to blow up those DMs?
Oh no.
How about a piece of this all-American pie, Mr.
Jack
President?
Jack Posobiec, he's like, hey, look at this.
Jack Posobiec, the greatest thing in the world. Oh,
Gates.
Yeah. Like Trump just has like endless texts from people using AI to try to make him Ivanka porn. He's like, no, it's not good enough. You gotta make my daughter better than that.
Yikes.
You
wow,
think,
way to far, Mike.
yeah, Mike, wow.
Yes, Trump's most horrifying sexual proclivity that we all know about is where I'm going to get it wrong. Yeah, I did the bad thing.
Yeah, we're doing bad right now. We're being
yeah.
Yeah. Yikes. Trying to put all of us in horny jail. Okay. No, what it actually is probably time for us to segue into our mailbag for the week. And, I'm really glad for the person who gets to be the first question, like following this segue. So good.
Yeah, lucky them.
Our listeners got questions. We got answers. It's time for Q&A.
So Debbie Maple asks, is the QAnon quote-unquote movement growing? Are they getting more radicalized still? It's very hard to say if the movement is growing, because I don't see a lot of people that are quote-unquote new converts that I actually trust are really new converts, and not people like just getting in on the grift and trying to like make something of it. But radicalization is definitely a thing that's happening, because movements like QAnon can never get less extreme. They can only get more extreme, because basically this kind of movement is all about generating outrage. It's all about getting you upset about shit. It's the market strategy for Gateway Pundit, Zero Hedge, basically any right-wing shit website you go to. It's designed to piss you off. And after a while, the dopamine hit goes away. You're just not getting angry from milder stuff. So they have to come up with more and more inflammatory shit to keep getting you madder and madder. So that's the real problem with QAnon and movements like it, is that if you don't burn out, you just become absolutely go insane. You just get so pilled that these movements just drive you nuts. It's inevitable, because Stephanie, one of MC Paceface, she mentions like she was a no plane 9/11 truther. Like that kind of shit is. This stuff always escalates, and it always gets wilder and crazier and worse by the minute. And that's why QAnon's natural endpoint is crazy anti-Semitism, because there's only so long you can think to yourself, oh, the bad guys are the government, the bad guys are Obama. Eventually, the bad guys become the Jews. It's just this inevitable thing, because there's so many anti-Semites in the movement already, and also the Jews have been around for forever, so you can blame them for literally all of humanity's problems since the dawn of civilization. They're the perfect scapegoats for these kind of conspiracy theory bigots and hate mongers. So all that kind of stuff is why radicalization is inevitable. As for the movement growing or ebbing, I think it's weakening, because the whole point of the movement was originally Trump's going to crush his enemies and save the world. And now the movement is about, when Trump wins in 2024, it'll be good because reasons. So just wait another year and a half, maybe. Yay.
Also, Trump hasn't stopped once signaling to QAnon people on True Social, which is not good for the people who are still into it. It's just kind of like this constant so-called affirmation that what they believe in is real, which can't be healthy.
Oh, I will say that as the podcast resident, sort of everyman, just your normal person who doesn't engage that much with this sort of literacy, it seems like QAnon ain't shit. I mean, it seems like for a while there was a threat that QAnon was going to be. It was like, oh, does QAnon have some amount of juice? Like, what's the deal? And then January 6th happened, and it was like, oh my God, here it is. It's their debut. It's time. And then what they decided to use that moment for was to scurry into the holes of being afraid of repercussions. So I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a rational person, and I'm not zero in touch with it. So obviously, right-wing political ideology is on the rise worldwide, in terms of the indoctrination of this resurgence of far-right idealism. But QAnon itself, specifically, that label seems like it has very little oomph anymore.
It doesn't have that much juice. It doesn't have that much pop to it.
I mean, Q himself ran away. He stopped posting. He fucked off. And it's just that was. It turns out that was not a signifier that the movement was going to get super popular. It was a signifier that the movement was going to have to start transitioning into a different thing, because what it was, the LARP was over. The person DMing your LARP left.
Yes.
And the option was to try to elevate some player to DM status, which they kind of tried, or somebody took it upon themselves to try it. It didn't work. Or you just find a different game. So that now everyone's just looking for a different game, but they're no less enthusiastic about it. They're itching to play.
Yeah, there's this unreality kind of happening going on anyway that's profitable from a lot of other groups that, it's not necessarily QAnon, but
right,
benefiting from this kind of disinformation, grift, or just whatever you believe.
Like Stu Peters and all these rest of these people would love for QAnon to just fade away and just let right-wing conspiracy theories not have that label upon them. It's why Q, in like one of his final edicts, was like, "There's no such thing as QAnon," because it's just bad for the brand. Because QAnon has a stigma to it. QAnon is, you say that, and a normal person's reaction is, "Oh, you mean those nuts who think Trump is Jesus?" And like you, the conspiracy theorist who wants to like try to dupe somebody into being like, "Hey, look at these trees in Maui that didn't burn down. What's that all about?" The last thing you want a normal person to hear when you say that is QAnon, because now they're just going to reject your argument out of hand. They're not even going to try to listen to you talk about the fucking trees. They're just going to be like, "You're a nut. I'm not dealing with you. Bye now." So I think that's actually kind of like the interesting thing about this is that these people want to create the alternate reality of right-wing conspiracy theories and QAnon, but they really don't want that brand because it's bad. It's just toxic.
Yep.
So I think that's
exactly correct.
So thank you for the question. Cosmos asks, what the fuck is this? And then posts a link to the fact that in Negative 48's group of people, apparently a 13-year-old girl is the new cult leader. And I looked at this story real quickly. Yeah. So basically, Negative 48 has, in his cult, there's a little girl who they call Tiny Teflon, and she is now like the figurehead leader of the Negative 48 Dallas movement. And so I will not go deep into this. I will put the Karma signal into the air, and maybe I'll do a one-off, like half-hour interview with Karma to talk about this, because she knows way more about the Negative 48 cult than anyone else. So.
I did see her briefly post about a 13-year-old that's in the chats, and it's like, what's going on here?
Yep.
Yikes. Well, somebody get word to this 13-year-old girl that they start funneling their money to the Adventures in HellwQrld podcast immediately. That's what the Kennedys want.
Yes. Yes. It is what you it is what you, the incarnation of JFK and Negative 48, should be doing with your money. Give it to us. So yes, thank you for that. Lemon33 at Blue Sky Social says, I saw this person I lost to QAnon now claiming that Eminem is a white hat and has been all along. She posted a 5-minute long TikTok from somebody supporting it. This is new because of a statement he made in a video, I'm assuming. So this is one of QAnon's favorite things to do, is to create enemies, and they have people they hate. And then at some ill-defined point, they'll make a question. Hey, wait a minute. Maybe this person I hate is someone who's actually good, and I should support them. And this is the kind of story they love to tell. They love having drama and interest. And is this person a goodie or a baddie? There's a lot of QAnon people who really love AOC. And every now and then the AOC white hat narrative crops up because they want the pretty lady to be on their team. And then eventually someone gets angry. They're like, "No, she's a socialist. Her politics are bad." And then everyone's like, but she's the pretty lady. I want the pretty lady to be a white hat. So it's just this sad thing where they go back and forth on various public figures, and if a public figure says anything that is ambivalent or like middle of the road, they're so thirsty for celebrity acceptance that they'll just take it. It's one of the funniest things about QAnon is they're just like, "Oh, the lamestream media and Hollywood thought we would follow their stars, but we didn't. We broke free of the Matrix." And then the next post they'll have is, "Roseanne Barr says the vaccines are bad. Fuck yeah, you go, Roseanne." And it's like, man, really? That's Roseanne, Scott Baio, like Kevin Sorbo. All of those guys are fucking like A-listers, gods in the eyes of QAnon. But you get like Taylor, the Nuge. Oh god, the Nuge was forever pilled. But they hate anyone who's relevant now, but the has-beens who are nutballs now, absolutely they're heroes. So no one's more obsessed with celebrity culture than QAnon, even though they claim to hate it.
Classic Americans.
Yes.
I mean, Well, they should hate it because the team they're playing for has all the worst celebrities, and we have all the best ones.
Yeah. Oh, that was like some guy like posted a thing where he was like, "What's the left's answer to this about AstroTurf 9/11? The Jews did it, guy." And people were like, "All the rest of American culture. That's our answer to the anti-Semitic yokel warbling about fat people buying fudge rounds with their food stamps." Like we've got it covered, buddy. We got it covered. The left has plenty of answers to that guy, so don't worry about it.
Lots of people can play the banjo, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, man, I do love a banjo. It's really unfortunate what the banjo is typically associated with, you know?
Yeah. So thank you for the question. Pancake Peasant asks, the DeSantis, Trump, and RFK Jr. seem to be Q-pilled or close enough. Have you heard other presidential candidates using QAnon to get ahead?
Well, first of all, let's not lose ourselves in the moment and start calling a Ron DeSantis a presidential candidate, you know?
That is a great.
Boom, got him.
Yes. Oh man.
Roasted.
I saw something that said that like Chris Christie has taken over second place from DeSantis in New Hampshire right now in the polling, and it's like, oh my god, what?
Just like even like out fucking sling cotton candy at a state fair with Trump. You're trying to tell me that he's supposed to be a contender? Like, it's really going to come down to like who can win. Can Joe Biden win the presidency back as the incumbent from like the idea of a criminal president? Like that is what the actual fight is. Ron DeSantis will never even get close unless Trump drops dead tomorrow, and even then probably not.
Yeah, that would be the greatest like shakeup in the history of a political election ever if Trump just winked out of existence tomorrow, because the Republicans would just like shit themselves because they hitch their wagon to DeSantis so hard and he's so nothing. I've actually seen like articles where the like Biden staffers are like, it would never happen, but God, we would love to run against DeSantis more than Trump. That would be so easy. God, we wouldn't even have to sweat election night. That thing would be over before it started. Oh my God, can you imagine a general election against DeSantis? And so it's like, holy shit, man, that's one of the things I think about every now and then is that like 2028, who do the Republicans have? It's like if Trump is alive and in prison in 2028, he would win the nomination. Prisoner Trump would just crush whoever they put against him. Like until he dies, he's the Republican nominee. It's just the awesome that way that they're just totally tied to him. But as for, I haven't really heard any of the other Republicans go that route because Tim Scott's kind of boring. Vivek, I don't know if he's gone QAnon. I really haven't paid that much attention to him. Christie's running as the anti-Trump candidate, so the last thing on God's green earth he'd ever do is get close to QAnon. So it feels like
RFK.
Well, no, she listed RFK in the.
Oh, okay.
He said RFK, Trump, and DeSantis.
I only heard DeSantis and Trump. Sorry. Well, at least we have this. We lost Woody.
Oh yeah, we have Woody's RFK Jr. now. Oh, oh God, yeah.
That was literally who I had in my head pictured when I was like, who the fuck would vote for RFK? I'm like, probably like someone like Woody Harrelson.
Yeah,
literally, he's like the exact type of Democrat type of person that would vote.
Fucking Twitter Jack, like Max donated to RFK, and it's like, yo, Twitter Jack.
I can't wait for those rallies. This is gonna be the weirdest group of people.
Yeah, it's like, fucking buddy. Like, all you had to do to be better than Elon was to shut your fucking yap and keep your $1 billion Elon gave you, and you couldn't do it. You had to be like, I think RFK's bold vision. It's like, no, you fucking moron. Oh my God.
I love that these people are just like, you know what this person needs to really get him over the goalpost? Some of my money. That will magically turn this nobody into a fucking powerhouse figure that could defeat Trump in a race. Yeah. And it's just like, what, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, it's, because you know what Trump does have? Money. He's already got that. He's got that was like in fucking Infinity War or whatever, when all of a sudden Captain Marvel is like soloing Thanos, and it's like, how? She's only got some of the powers of one of the stones. Like, what are you talking about? That's not how this works.
Money.
Yeah, it was like fucking. It was like Scarlet Witch was the one who soloed him at the end, and I was just like, why? Why did every other
some of the powers, one of the stones, and everybody gets to solo Thanos a little bit because they all need a cool superpower moment. But it's just like that's as established. It shouldn't work. But what do I know?
Right. Like I just remember watching Scarlet Witch beat the shit out of Thanos, and I'm like, why was I watching Iron Man and Captain America and Thor and all of these other bums who were three on one-ing Thanos and like barely avoiding being bodied, and then she just shows up and Thanos is like, order the missile strike, she's whipping my ass too hard, and it's like, really? Like, why was this movie not about Scarlet Witch the whole time? She's obviously the biggest badass in the film. What the fuck?
Well, then they gave her her own movie, and because of that, they needed to turn her into a bad guy, Mike. So now she's a bad guy.
Oh,
so
right.
Whenever you worry your pretty little head about how powerful she is.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I was very concerned.
I don't know what we're talking about.
We're talking about the stupid fucking Marvel movies, which
I can tell partially.
Really
I just don't know what.
Look, we're just jabbering about nerd nonsense and bad writing, and
You know what,
a giant boat of billion-dollar franchises that they crash right into an iceberg of mediocrity.
Yes. And our final question is from Flanageddon, who asks, with Biden ruining the Brandon meme, should he give where we go one, we go all? Should he attack that one to try to destroy more of QAnon's fun? I don't know how he would do it, because the internet co-opted "Let's Go Brandon" into Dark Brandon, and then
Brandon
Biden
rules. I love Brandon memes.
Yeah. And then Biden just leaned into it. Basically Biden's staff was like, "Yo, Mr. President, there's this thing where people have turned you into this cool, crazy, like super villain," and Biden's just like, "Yeah,
okay, Jack."
Yeah, okay, Jack, eating his ice cream cone, just doing his thing, and it's like, yeah, I mean,
Jack.
Yes, I mean, so I just think that I think that Biden basically probably just got this, probably from hanging out with Obama so much, he got this idea that, like, use the internet's memes for good on your behalf. Like, Obama used thanks Obama. So I just think that Biden was able to riff off the Dark Brandon. I think that in order for that kind of thing to happen, where like Biden and establishment Democrats like jujitsu a right-wing meme against itself, it requires that meme to have more juice, because where we go one, we go all is really kind of niche, and I wouldn't want to give them oxygen. Whereas you had like idiots in like football stadiums and shit, like chanting, "Let's go, Brandon." Like, that was an actual thing the right was doing, and they thought they were so cool doing it. And then the left and Biden like just turned it into Dark Brandon and yucked their yum, and that was great. I mean, that was just like a really awesome bit of political jujitsu. So I don't think we can do that with anything else they've got, because they don't have anything else that has the juice needed for that kind of move.
If you could have Joe Biden use a phrase and it immediately ruins it, and like people stop doing it, what would you choose then?
Well, if he could use it, if he just used the phrase, that would be great. If, like, during his DNC acceptance speech, he talked about the solidarity of America and building unity, and he closed by saying, "Where we go one, we go all." Oh, God. QAnon would explode. They would all die. Like, either they would think that Biden was a white hat, or like he was mocking them. Oh, that would be awesome. If it wasn't so much like using it as a meme and using it as a actual like battle cry, or if he just used it as a throwaway line in a speech, that would be sweet. I think I'd be a huge fan of that.
I would love him to say that something was technically correct, the best type of correct. I'm fucking over that shit. Yeah, I'm like, dude, I'm too old for that pedantry. Yeah. How about just letting somebody being slightly wrong like slide every now and again, so that way we don't have to like waste a bunch of our conversational time like in this quagmire of like weird one-upsmanship to see who can be the most correct about a thing.
Oh my God. I had the greatest moment of that happen to me in my life. I was in this nutball Twitter space, and someone was just like, "I think calling someone a Nazi is counterproductive to a good conversation." And I said to them, if someone is denying the Holocaust to me, I am going to call them a Nazi. That is how that works.
They should get called a Nazi and then get punched in the mouth.
And then somebody else in the chat said, "I think there is a difference between a Holocaust denier and a Nazi." And I just screamed at them. I'm like, what? They're just denying the Holocaust on academic grounds? What are you on about, mate? And then the moderators
Yeah,
had
let's
to
pick their fucking brain a bit.
Yeah,
Where did they come
right.
to this conclusion, and what are the ideas surrounding this
Yeah.
Holocaust denial? I
Yeah.
bet it's pretty fucking Nazi.
Yeah, no shit. It was like, oh my God. It was like, that was the most bizarre thing anyone has ever said to me. I just couldn't even wrap my brain around it.
Anyways.
Yeah, good shit. So if you want to get on that, Joe Biden, if you want to call something is malarkey technically correct, the best kind of correct. Excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. President. Now nobody will use that ever again. Thank God.
Yes. And so finally, what are you guys looking forward to?
Honestly, I don't really have anything queued up, I guess. It was supposed to be me being excited for the release of Lorcana, but inevitably my LGS fudged the bucket on getting the product when they were supposed to, so I have to wait a couple of more weeks. So death, I guess. No, give me new card game or give me death. I don't know. I have like a lazy day ahead of me. I'm probably gonna play some Baldur's Gate 3 and just be generally fat and excellent in my own time, like a boss.
Chad move.
Yeah, just being the Chadley alpha fat guy that Republicans wish they could be. as
Fudge rounds.
Yeah, me with my big, actually being 6'2" or 6'3" and not having to wear lifts to fake it, and just being generally taller, fatter, and
big
better
boy
than Donald Trump. Yeah, dude, absolutely. I've got that Riz. I didn't dump that charisma stat, I put the work in where it counts, as we discussed earlier. Look, you know what I'm excited for? Me. I'm great.
Yeah, we're confident fats here.
Oh yeah, high five, dude. You gotta love that. You gotta love who you are, right? Like, that's the first step to actually radiating like a good aura. You just gotta actually be just like, it's pretty great. Me, like I'm pretty cool.
Yeah. So, what are you looking forward to, Haley?
Without naming specifics, I'm doing like some art show shit this weekend, so that'll be fun, I guess, if you're in art, which I am.
Are you just going to spectate, or are you an artist? I mean, I don't want to dive you out too much. I don't want to try to dox you or anything.
I will be dabbling in some stuff this weekend.
So some creative endeavors. Nice.
Some bullshit, some artsy fartsy bullshit.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I hope to see all you out that know what I'm talking about, but we won't give details.
Yeah. I also enjoy arting. Every once in a while, I would do art on the low.
Art is good, even if you're not good at it. Everybody should do a little bit of art sometimes. It's relaxing. Unless you're not into it, then don't do it. Don't fucking do it.
You do art, it's super stressful. You're
it's like, fuck this.
I fucked it up again. God damn it.
Haley's just backpedaling there to save face. What she really meant was gun to your fucking head. Do some art,
Do
loser.
some fucking art.
There you go.
It's good
Read
healthcare.
something, motherfucker. I want to see it. I want to feel a feeling, bitch.
Yep. It is.
It's the Bernie Sanders meme, Bernie holding a gun. I'm not asking you to do art now. You are doing art.
I don't have Netflix. Take out the paintbrush.
Yes.
We're making art.
Yeah. So I am looking forward to Baldur's Gate 3. I'm going to start playing it after this podcast. I'm just going to dive in and just get in there and bask in this madness because the game has eaten so many of my friends. I have to do it because it's right up my alley. This is the kind of thing that I enjoy, so I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it because everyone else, people who I respect, like Elle, have told me it's great. So I'm doing this. This is the thing I'm doing.
I don't know what I did to earn your respect, but that's a tremendous mistake. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. That's going to do it for us for the week. It is time for us to let's throw out some ice skates this week and ice skate our way out of HellwQrld. That seems suitably appropriate for how much I talked about being a big fat fuck this week. Picture me, my doughy, mysterious frame on a tiny little pair of roller skates. It's like a Roald Dahl book or whatever. Anyway, thanks for listening to the show and supporting us with your ears. If you want to support us even harder for free, you can do so by giving us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast from. If you have money and you'd like to give it to us, you could do so via Patreon at patreon.com/pokerpolitics. Any donation $5 or above gets you access to all of our bonus content, past, present, and future. But you can donate as little as $2 a month to just tip your dealers. Thank you so much to all of our beautifuler babies, including our new beautifuler baby for the week, Donald. Donald, you've got a cool name, man. I like that name. I'm not going to lie, I'm sure you get a lot, but it reminds me of the duck, and I have a fondness for the duck. Love that duck. So thank you so much, Donald, for the duck, and also for the $2. Welcome to the crib. If you have money and you don't want to give it to a few jerks, even if one of them is the new Haley, the spiciest addition to the team, we get it. You know, it happens. Sometimes you want to do some good with your money. So instead, we suggest currently, if you can, donate it to the relief efforts happening in Maui. Or generally, we also suggest donating to love146.org, an organization whose vision is the end of child trafficking and exploitation. Thank you as always to DJ Minimal Effort for the use of our intro song. Like me, DJ Minimal Effort is too cool for your social medias. You'll not find them on a Twitter or an X or a double or even triple X. No. We are too good for that shit. Frosty's not, though. Frosty sucks. No, I'm just kidding. Frosty rules. And Frosty can be found on X/Twitter at FrostyVO. They're, of course, responsible for all of our bumps and our voiceovers and the voice of Q when we used to need it. So go find them there if you're interested. You can still find the show itself on that hellscape of a platform at HellwQrld with a Q instead of an O. You can find Haley at Arizona, AZ_RWW. I ask you this every week, and every week you're just like, I don't give a shit. Just find me, you know, whatever.
It's Arizona Right Watch. That's right both ways. Usually it's like Arizona AZ_ on some accounts, but without the underscore on others, I think.
It's
Except
really
for
my
Arizona
fault.
Right Watch. It's not important. It's not important. Social media is whack.
I should have it written down. My unprofessionalism is really going to be the end of me. But
you
not
know,
for now.
Linktree/AZ_RWW. You'll find everything right there. Boom.
There we go. Excellent. And mysteriously doing art somewhere in the world. Oh my God. Such doxing. Crazy.
Usually.
And of course, Mike Raids is at Poker Politics. If you want to get into a shouting match with a lunatic, there he is. You can go get it done. So for another successful episode of the Adventures in HellwQrld podcast, I have been one of your hosts, the Mysterious L, joined as always by Haley, aka Arizona Right Wing Watch, and of course our expert in all things QAnon crazy, Mr. Mike Rains. Good speed, Patriots.